All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Greek Godcast. We're your hosts. I'm Dan the Man, and with me, as always, is the Greek God himself, Tyler Jones.
Back in commission.
In commission.
Yeah. We've been down the last couple of days.
Yeah, we haven't been able to do a whole lot. I've been kind of busy on my end with some stuff, but you've been down for some different reasons.
About 3 days.
Yeah, about 3 days.
So, before I get into that, I got in trouble. I've been in trouble the last 2 or 3 podcasts.
What?
Because the maker of our title, the Greek Godcast, is mad. My fiance. She keeps telling me I have not told people where the name came from. If you watch our video, you can see me. I'm dad bodded out. But, you know, I'll talk shit. I'm full of myself sometimes. So I'll just walk up to her random times and be like, please, I'm built like a Greek god. I'm glorious. So when I started my blog, I was trying to figure out a name for it. So she said, why not just call it the Greek God blog? I said, okay.
Yeah, because originally this was just you before I came on.
Yeah.
And it was just a blog on WordPress.
Yeah.
And you only talked about sports.
Well, not only. I had a couple of different ones on there, but it was mainly
initially
sports.
It was, though.
Yeah.
Because that was the title. You were doing a sports blog.
Yeah, I was mainly doing sports, and then the NFL and MLB season ended, and
yeah,
you know, who the hell wants to talk about NBA?
I mean, I kind of do. A little bit.
So
there's no point now.
So we done the blog, and then when Dan and I were sitting around brainstorming this podcast, what are we going to call it?
Yeah. Well, you already had the perfect name.
Well, yeah, I had it thought up.
And I'm a big fan as a dad of play on words and puns.
Yeah.
So it just made sense.
So instead of the Greek God podcast, just to have a better ring to it, we decided just a Greek Godcast.
Greek Godcast.
So to my fiance, there's your credit.
Thank you for giving us such a brandable name. You were the best.
Mm-hmm.
So there's shout out to the love of your life.
And I would say you'd get a cut of the proceeds, but they go to me. And as you know, my money is our money, and your money is your money.
Yeah. So it's true either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, there's money in our house.
Yeah.
A whopping 54 cents.
A whopping 54 cents.
So, yeah. That's that, ladies and gents.
Yeah. So, so we've been down a few days with different things.
Yeah, normally we would try to put one out every other day. I think going forward, we talked about it a little bit.
I've been tied up with some stuff.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to wait a minute to talk about yours, so I'll just talk about mine. Like, I've been kind of focusing on some of my own personal projects. I'm pretty close to publishing my first coloring book, which I'm really excited about, as we try to plug shamelessly, literally every episode.
Hold on. Before speaking of plugs, if you're going to give your co-host something of yours to plug,
yeah,
make sure you have the right thing to plug.
Yeah.
Make sure the address is right.
Yeah. So, speaking of which, that is true. But so he's talking about my Patreon. I could have swore it was Trash Panda 71. Apparently it's just
plain old Trash Panda.
Just Trash Panda. And the reason it's confusing is because, like, all I wanted to call it was just Trash Panda Art across the board, but that name, it's just a social media name, right? And so some of it's taken, so I have to do variations of it.
Yeah. Because
ultimately, like, when it comes down to it, it's me, not, the social media name that I choose to use, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about, like, copyright on the name or whatever. But, like, my Patreon, I couldn't use whatever name, and so it just ended up being Trash Panda, and I could have swore I did Trash Panda 71. And so I've been telling you the wrong. If you just search Trash Panda on Patreon, you'll see a brown sketch paper drawing of a raccoon holding a jar of peanut butter, and it says Trash Panda above it, and that's me. That's my stuff.
And I've been trying to promote it and push both pages.
Yeah, and I told them the wrong thing.
You totally dropped the ball.
But it's the only one I got wrong. The Instagram name's right, the Twitter name's right, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. So, and speaking of the YouTube channel, while we haven't done anything for the podcast, I did just release a new video on my channel, Trash Panda 71, last night on YouTube, and I do a mashup drawing of Mr. Pickles holding Pickle Rick in his mouth, and I'm going to talk about Mr. Pickles later, because the whole reason I decided to draw that is because I just was introduced to Mr. Pickles on Hulu. I'd never heard of the show before, and apparently it's been out since like 2014, and I watched all 4 seasons this past weekend, which didn't take that long. They're not very long episodes, but Jesus Christ, that show, wow. But anyway, the main thing that I worked on was my coloring book. I've been drawing, most of the time when I draw pictures, I draw them black and white, with the thought of it being a coloring book page, because that's what I really want to do. And I finally got everything put together and in a PDF file and submitted to Amazon last night, which they sent me an email this morning saying I need to make some changes, but it's just margin size changes, sizing of the pictures, so that when it prints, it's not cut off, it's not funny or whatever. So I have to create a whole new PDF file because of the way I did it. I made it in PowerPoint, and I need to just basically go back and do it in Word. And it should take me maybe a day to do. But after I do that, I can resubmit it, and hopefully they'll approve it, and I can start selling it and make some of that sweet, sweet coloring book money.
Yes.
But that's what's that, and family, because my wife, oh my God, she is going so stir crazy. I feel so bad for her, having to basically being forced to be laid off. And she's not laid off. She can work when I'm not working, because we work 410s. Great thing about our job. But she's only getting between 40 and 60 bucks a week, depending on how many hours she works, one day a week. She's going insane.
Men stuck in the house with kids all the time.
Yeah, and I love my kids, but at this point, school is a blessing.
Yeah. It's
fortunately that blessing is done for the year.
Yeah, and
till next year.
Yeah,
this fall, school year wise.
Yeah.
So
hopefully everything will be done by then.
Yeah. But that's what's been taking up my time. You, on the other hand, have a completely unproductive reason. Which started with you actually being productive, but nothing to do with the podcast. You were doing something else. So start back
and there's a lesson to learn from this whole thing. I'll get to that at the end.
So I'm curious. I know it had to do with furniture, but I don't. What exactly were you doing and why?
So we woke up Sunday, and my fiance had decided she wanted to buy a dresser.
Right. Yeah, because y'all been talking about getting furniture
from my sister-in-law.
Okay.
So we go to town. I drive all the way to town.
Yeah.
To pick this dresser up. Now the dresser itself is not heavy. It's a 2-person job carrying it just from the bulk of it, but the dresser is not heavy.
Mm-hmm.
So we get it. We put it in the back of my car, lay it down, and then of course we drive back. And as we get home, I have her on the end of it, pulling it out, pulling it out of the car.
Yeah.
And when it got close enough, I would lean over, reach in, grab the other end of it, and just pick it up and carry it up on the steps.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, in the midst of all this, I did something to my rib, something in my ribs, my chest, something. Because I started getting this horrible pain. In my right ribs, it ran through the middle of my ribs, up into my right man boob.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not the moob.
Yeah, the moob.
And it left some marks, too.
Yeah, well, that came later.
Okay. So it wasn't immediate.
No, and it was... I didn't have trouble breathing, per se, but it hurt to breathe.
Yeah.
And so I decided...
That scared the missus.
Yeah, because she was like, people who have the Rona are... they had difficulty breathing. I was like, look,
the Rona.
Look, I don't have the Rona. Leave me alone.
My wife thought the same thing. She thought you had the Rona too.
Yeah.
I was about to get grounded from ever speaking to you ever again.
Right. But no, I don't have the Rona. So
yeah.
So 2 days of this, I was just, and I'm one of them people. I'm hard headed. You can attest. When I had the flu, it took me 2 or 3 days just to go see a doctor. I don't go to the doctor. I don't go, usually if I'm in pain or something, I'll just take some Tylenol and hope it stops.
Yeah.
Well, it kept getting worse and worse, and then so Monday rolled around, went into work, was in pain all day.
Yeah.
I was uncomfortable.
You were pretty miserable.
I was miserable.
Yeah.
And then Monday night I got home, same thing, still miserable. And it got to the point, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night, like, moaning, just in legit pain.
Yeah.
So, yesterday evening,
yeah,
I decided...
You were miserable again yesterday, too.
Yeah.
Nothing got better.
So I decided to hell with it. I'm going to go to the ER.
Finally, after how many people said you need to go, including maybe a co-host?
A few.
Yeah.
But see, I wasn't worried about it until I started having this bruising that just popped up out of nowhere.
Which looks pretty rough.
It's like from the bottom of my armpit down to about the middle of my stomach.
Yeah.
And I went in there, and first off, I get why they're doing it, but the lady sitting right before you go to the emergency room.
Yeah, panic screening.
Yeah. She's sitting there like, okay, we got to take your temperature. We got to take your temperature. I'm like, I'm not running a fever. I've already checked because the missus was freaking out.
Yeah.
No fever. I was like, well, look.
No symptoms at all.
Yeah.
You're
she's
just
like,
hurting.
So what's the problem? I was like, I done did something to my ribs. It hurts like hell,
Yeah.
And then she said, oh, well, go right in. All right. Luckily, I was the only one there at this point, so it didn't take long to get seen. The nurse lady, the triage nurse, she came in, got all my information. And then I go sit in this room. I'm sitting there for about 5 minutes. Doctor walked in. He touches my ribs. Does it hurt there? Does it hurt there?
Yeah.
Some spots it would hurt, some spots it wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, nothing feels out of place. We're just going to give you some muscle relaxers and an anti-inflammatory.
Can I just say right there that I find that to be one of the most aggravating things about practicing medicine is, like, you're in a lot of pain and you really just expect at least an x-ray, something more thorough than just a little touchy-feely and assumption.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he didn't know what he was talking about because he went to medical school and we didn't.
Right.
But at the same time, it's really like, I don't know, man. It's just really disappointing. Like, anticlimactic. That's what I was trying to think of. It's very anticlimactic.
But see, here's where my blood got to boiling.
Okay.
After the doctor left, he said, I'm going to go write your prescription out.
Yeah.
Sit tight.
Which, at least you got that. Not everybody gets that. They just get told to go home and lay down.
Yeah, pretty much. But after he left, I sat in this room for 30 minutes. It's not the bad part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the air conditioner was properly working or something.
Oh, that sucks.
So, it was like 80 degrees in this room.
Oh, God.
I'm fat. I sweat as it is. Meanwhile, you put me in a room with no ventilation or something.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
Let me ask, do you get really angered and irritable easily when you get hot?
I do.
I do. I turn into a total jerk.
I do.
When I get hot.
And that's what, when he walked back in, I was trying not to be an asshole, but
at the same time, you're miserable.
I'm miserable. And last night, same thing. I tried to lay down in my actual, for whatever reason, I guess because it's more stiff.
Yeah.
The futon we have, I can sleep on.
Yeah.
The bed, I could not sleep on.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I was tossing and turning. I was surprised I didn't wake my fiance up because, like, I was in audible pain.
Yeah.
So, that's why we haven't had a podcast since Friday.
Yeah. But you're feeling better today.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm still in some pain, depending on how I move and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think we're getting there, though.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
You got through today fine. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost 6 now. You know, you've gotten through 10 hours pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we're getting there. Well, hopefully another day or two, all this will be gone because we got some big stuff coming up. Well,
yeah.
What we consider big.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. Trip to the ER.
Trip to the ER.
Moving honeydew list.
Yeah. You have to do the honeydew list or you'd be in worse shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to do the honeydew list just to get in the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
you don't do the honeydew list, you don't get to do the fun stuff.
I mean, it's, whatever.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. So, I have something on my brain.
Yeah.
If you go back to episode 2, I told college football how they need to fix the playoffs.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I really enjoyed your breakdown of that.
And then we ended up getting into how stupid the NCAA is.
Yeah.
And then I can't believe I forgot to mention it in that episode.
What's that?
But I'll do it here now.
Okay.
And this, you can call this how stupid the NCAA is.
Mm-hmm.
When these kids graduate from high school and go to college, the chancellors and everything, the coaches are sort of mom and dad away from mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take these young people from high school, turn them into young men and women. And if you listen to the Dan Patrick Show, you've heard this story several times. Here is how idiotic the NCAA is. And the reason I thought about it, because I re-listened to one of our podcasts, episode 2. Trevor Lawrence, who is the star quarterback from Clemson, started some sort of charity for corona victims.
That's cool. That's really cool.
The NCAA got mad at him and was threatening punishment because there is money coming into something that a, quote, amateur athlete is running.
But it's a charity. He's not keeping any of it.
But I think they have since pulled back on it because of the backlash.
Yeah.
But, folks, here's what you need. Here's how you need to know the NCAA is stupid. 2 stories. One, I was watching a show, and I don't remember the name of it, but a kid who was on a football team was living on campus, went and bought a water hose, a bucket, and stuff to wash his car.
Yeah.
That was considered a violation.
How?
Because not everyone else on campus has that.
Has a bucket, hose, and
Yeah.
stuff to wash your car?
Not everybody on campus has access to it.
Well, why would they need access to something you paid for?
Well, I mean, exactly.
Like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Right. Now, here's how you can tell the NCAA is crooked, corrupt, stupid, and idiotic. And again, if you listen to Dan Patrick, you've heard the story.
Okay.
A few years ago. I don't remember the exact year.
Yeah. Some time ago.
Yeah, Rick Majerus, who was a college basketball coach.
Okay.
A player on his team, his father died.
Yeah.
So, Coach Majerus heard about it, took the kid to like a sandwich shop, and bought him a sandwich and everything.
I heard that story.
Yeah.
This part, the heartwarming part.
Just to sit and talk to him.
Yeah.
And, hey, how you doing? You need anything?
Because he's going through a hard time.
Right, and this is...
Yeah.
And again, coaches are the moms and dads away from mom and dad.
Yeah, he's doing what coaches are actually supposed to do, aside from teaching them how to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, since he bought the kid a meal, it was considered an NCAA violation.
Why? This part I didn't know about.
Because the NCAA is stupid.
But, what was the reason for claiming it was a violation, though?
Because he bought the kid a sandwich. He paid for it.
I don't understand.
No one does.
That's insane.
Yeah. The NCAA wants these coaches to turn these kids into young men.
Right.
Which I can get a rant on coaches going as well, but we'll save that.
Yeah.
So, this kid's father died.
Yeah.
And his coach, to check on him, took him out for a lunch just to talk with him to see how he was doing. And
just to see where he was at.
Yeah. And this is a violation according to NCAA. Because the coach, it was basically considered a coach paying a player, essentially, what it boiled down to.
In sandwiches? Like payment in sandwiches?
Well,
Like that? Dude, that doesn't make any sense. He never actually gave the kid money. He bought him a meal. A meal.
Yeah, but it
And
was considered a violation because
he gave him more
someone-
encouragement and discussion than actual any substance.
I think the way they were looking at it was, okay, a member of the university bought something for an athlete at the university. So they equal that out. The kid may as well have been getting $100 bills under the table.
That's ridiculous. What? Okay, so you said it was at the university where it happened?
Well, yeah. I mean,
or-
they were in school, but they went to I guess like a sandwich shop or something.
That was not on campus.
Right.
Okay, I understand. I thought you were saying that it was like a place of business, a sandwich shop that was on campus.
No, as far as I know, it wasn't on campus.
Okay.
But in case you were wondering how stupid the NCAA is, there you go.
Wow.
It is the same as our fucking government.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And just, man, as much as we're tired of talking about things like COVID-19, I'm tired of bringing this up, but it gets brought up every time, and that's how corrupt and selfish people are. This thought gets brought up one form or another every episode because of stories like this.
Yeah.
People are selfish. People are just garbage. They only care about themselves and they don't care about other people, and that's ultimately what the problem is. It's not the organization, it's the people that run it.
Yeah.
And it's the same problem with government. It's not the organization, it's the people that run it and have shaped it into what it is. And it's ridiculous.
But it's like, okay, they want these coaches to be role models for these young athletes. They want them to take care of these kids when they're not at home.
Yeah, because they don't have mom and dad. They're away from their families, typically.
Yeah. So when a kid's father dies, a coach can't take him out to a lunch just to see how he's doing.
Yeah.
I mean,
so what if it had not been a coach? Because we're sitting here talking about coaches are supposed to do this and do that.
if anyone affiliated with the university.
So a teacher.
Yeah.
If a teacher had a connection with a student like that, like a role model type influence, they couldn't do the same for the same reasons. It'd be the same
Right.
thing.
And all because the coach bought the kid's meal.
So do you think it would have been as big of a public spectacle if it had been a teacher? And we'd be aware of it?
No, I don't. It would have still been a violation, but I don't think it would have been
Public.
as big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, they suspended the coach for the rest of the year at that point
That's ridiculous.
because of it.
You know what? I'm actually glad it was a coach that did it so that we could see how they treat people for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So, I don't know. Like I said, I was listening to episode 2 and it just made me think.
Yeah.
Because then I saw the deal about Trevor Lawrence and,
Yeah.
you know, the NCAA has the most...
In a time where... I'm sorry, I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You're
I
good.
just realized you were still... My bad. I'm bad about that. I'm bad about that. Sorry.
You'll be alright.
But in a time right now where the one message above all else, you know, everyone's saying social distancing, wear a mask, wear gloves, blah, blah, blah. And those messages are very prevalent, and yes, you should follow them, blah, blah, blah. But the one message above all the other is we're in this together, work together. And that's what this player was doing. What'd you say his name was? Trayvon? What was his name?
I don't remember the player's name.
The one doing the charity?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Trevor. I don't know why I said Trayvon. I just heard Trey and immediately something. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm hard with names. So Trevor was running a charity to help out people dealing with COVID-19,
Yep.
literally following through with the one message above all, and he gets penalized for it.
Yeah, well, and like I said, they've since pulled it back. That was only because of all the backlash they received.
I would say justified backlash.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They
for
shouldn't
sure.
have done it to begin with.
And it's not that he himself was getting the money, it's that a charitable organization was being run by a quote-unquote amateur athlete.
Dude, it was run by a decent human being.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it was run by.
Yeah.
Like, someone wanting to do something for the community shouldn't matter who they are.
Yeah.
I ran a community event a couple years ago called the Art Walk.
Yeah.
And I'm, in the public's eye, I'm nobody. I'm just a middle class worker, family man
who loves dad jokes.
I love dad jokes and I love art, and I put on a community event that took up most of the square for several hours on a Saturday in March, and I never got any backlash for it.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be and the whole reason I did it is because I wanted to get artists together to show their work and hopefully sell it and get exposition and families to come out and just have something to do and have a good time.
Right.
All the right reasons. And I never got backlash for it. And people who want to do things like that should never get backlash for just wanting to do the right thing for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Period.
I don't know. There's just... The NCAA is broken.
It is.
It is broken.
All the major organizations and corporations that you see, they're broken and corrupt, and they're just they're terrible, man. And I mean, I say that without I say it like I've got like a library full of substantial evidence, but the thing is all I have is what's seen like everybody else sees in the media. And I know you can't believe everything the media says, but just like every exaggerated story, it starts with the truth somewhere. That truth is always ugly in times like this.
For sure.
In instances like this. So there is always a sliver of truth to these things. So, I mean, it's never as pretty as people try to make it out to be.
No,
ever.
No.
Ever.
No. But no, that's all I had on that one. It bugged me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. So, we're like 3 minutes from our 30-minute mark. You want me to go into my next thing, or do you want to? How do you want to do this? We usually pause for like 5 seconds when we hit our 30-minute mark, and I guess I can. Oh, you know what? I can fill 2.5 minutes.
All right.
Hold on. I wrote some notes down. Okay. Pet peeve of mine. Here's one. If you have a lot to say, I may have said this before, but if you have a lot to say to somebody and you try to text all those words to someone, stop it. Right. No one wants to read your book. Not that way. Like, just dial their number and use the phone as God intended. Like, just call them and get all your 50,000 words out in less than a minute instead of taking 10 minutes to write everything out and making someone spend 10 minutes reading it. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And people just do, they're like, I'd just rather text because I just don't feel like actually talking to somebody, while they talk to somebody using their thumbs. Maybe I'm showing my age more than I should.
I think you are a little.
But it's just a huge pet peeve with me, man. It's a phone. Just I know people hate hearing their phone ring. I'm one of those people. But at the same time, like, if you've got a whole lot to say and it's really important, it's so much faster and easier to just actually speak.
Yeah, and sometimes things can get lost in translation through translation.
Yeah.
Through text.
Yeah.
But
because context is a big thing, and you can
there's no sarcasm font.
Everyone's got a story of misunderstanding the context of a text message. Everyone. Because it's just words. It's how you interpret it, and that can be solved real easy with a little green phone icon on your phone.
Yeah.
Because it's a phone.
Yeah. I mean,
I have another rant. I still got a minute.
Which, by the way, kids, in case you didn't know, you used to have to pay per text message.
Yeah, like $0.25 a text.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I forget
how
it went.
I think it was like 10 cents a text.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
And so if you send a text, that's 10 cents.
Yeah.
If you receive one, that's another 10 cents.
Yeah.
Think about that, kids.
Yeah.
Which I do. You know what? I do have a thought on text messages.
Okay.
But we're going to wait.
Yeah, we hit 30 minutes now.
We're going to take a break real quick. I'm going to walk to the end of my driveway to try to get this to save.
Because internet signal is so poor here.
Yeah. Because it's 2020 and we don't have service. So, I will tell you in a minute what my biggest rant as far as text messaging goes. And 3, 2, 1, break time.
And we're back.
Yeah, just like that.
Just
we're back.
like that. You have no idea how much time actually passed.
yeah, you know, this no service thing, well, very little service, makes stuff kind of hard.
Yeah, so you have to have service to save each half.
Yeah.
And we have to split them up because we want to be able to take on a sponsor if we're ever chosen for sponsorship.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully, for you sponsors out there.
Please listen to us.
Yeah, please listen to us.
We will plug whatever it is you want us to plug.
Exactly.
And I know how that sounded after saying it, and you know what? I said I said what I said.
I didn't even catch that. So
yeah.
You called yourself out.
Yeah, I did.
So
but that's okay.
So before the break, you were talking about text messages.
Yeah,
People sending you long stories of text messages.
You know, when they should just call.
Yeah. I have a bigger problem with this other thing than I do a long message.
Okay, what's that?
These people that will type, if they have 5 sentences to say, they won't send it in one message. They send it in 5 different messages. That will drive me up the wall. That pisses me off more. That's for sure. If you do that, you're for sure going to get ignored.
So, sometimes I do that, but this is why. For one, I have this habit of texting like I talk. And also, sometimes I'll say something in a text and forget to say another thing or have another thought. And so you might get like 3 sentence long text messages from me, but it's not because that's just how I text, period. It's just sometimes that's just what you get.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's like,
I think it should be excusable every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then.
But if that's just how you do it.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, whatever. Today the weather is 80 degrees, it's cloudy, it's muggy, and it's rainy.
Yeah.
If you put in today the weather is, and then you send that message, and then cloudy, muggy, message, raining, 80 degrees, hot, send.
Yeah.
I don't need 5 different texts to explain one thing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe we're just showing we're getting too old.
Well, I'm really going to drive that thought home when I say this. Your phone has autocorrect for a reason, and it's for spelling.
Oh, God.
So, I understand using some abbreviations and some spelling of some words some certain way, things like that. You know, those, I'm not talking about that. Just blatant, ignorant grammar and misspelling is inexcusable in today's age because your phone will spell it for you. Use it.
Yeah. Like, I'll see some people post statuses on Facebook, and it's just like, dear God.
Just because you talk and think like a 4th grader doesn't mean you should spell like one.
And, you know, a typo every now and again.
Actually, that's insulting to 4th graders.
Yeah, a typo every now and again, you know, shit happens.
Yeah, it's...
But,
you
like,
know,
when the whole sentence is just...
It's just wrong.
Like, this day be over with. I was like, my IQ is instantly dropping.
Yeah.
I can feel myself getting dumber, especially these younger generations. They can't. This is dis.
Dis.
There's no that. It's dat.
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder people think you're flipping stupid because you are.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That was just, you were talking about text messages. That led me on to the rant.
We have definitely, you're right about one thing, we have definitely shown our age.
Yeah.
And I think that should be today's title. We've shown our age.
Yeah, we're getting old.
Yeah.
We are getting old.
So,
It's...
now, a minute ago, at the beginning of the podcast, when I was talking about my stuff and the video I did on YouTube, I said I watched a show called Mr. Pickles. And I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail about it for a number of reasons. Man, I am going to do like a really quick review of it. Just like maybe a 5-minute quote-unquote review. I don't know what I thought I was getting into watching the show, Tyler. But it wasn't what I got. Like, dude. So, it's about a dog who lives with a family. Mom, dad, son. Son is named Tommy, and he has leg braces that he has to wear to walk around. and they have a grandpa living with them, and the grandpa you think is crazy because he's always accusing the dog Mr. Pickles, who's named Mr. Pickles, by the way, because he loves pickles. Like, that's the treat Tommy gives him, is jumbo pickles. Okay? And, you know, you think he's kind of crazy because he's always accusing Mr. Pickles of being evil and murdering people and being evil and all that stuff. And no, that's not it at all. He's actually quite sane, and he's correct, because the dog is a Satanist dog who is also a serial killer. Like, there is so much over-the-top murder and gore and terrible things in this show. Like, I'm not even comfortable talking about some of the things that I saw in this show. Like, it's one of those things where, like, at times I did find myself enjoying it, because at its core is an Adult Swim cartoon, and, like, that humor that you typically see did shine through. But then there was times when they were obviously just trying to shock you. And push things as far to the edge as possible. I've never dropped my jaw so many times watching a show as I have watching Mr. Pickles. I don't think I'll ever watch that show again. But it is a cute dog, and that's why I drew the picture.
I mean, speaking of review.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna do one soon.
Yeah, we have decided that, seeing as how I have never seen a single minute of Star Wars,
yeah,
I will be doing a review on what are all the whole
the everything ever.
Yeah,
I don't know. No, it's not anthology. Isn't it anthology?
It might be called the anthology
of Star Wars.
I'm gonna do the prequel trilogy, the sequel trilogy, and then
the original trilogy.
The original,
not
yes.
in that order though.
No.
He's gonna watch the original trilogy first.
I'm gonna watch it in order of release date.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure yet. So the plan is, I'm gonna do one trilogy, do a review, do another trilogy and a review, so on and so forth. We might do that for Patreon.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So, for all you Star Wars people, find our Patreon page, and I'm going to try... Oh, I don't know. I might try to do it next week.
Okay.
The first trilogy.
Okay. So,
I'm going to try.
Some of you would already know this if you were patrons, because our true first video we ever recorded did go only on Patreon.
Yes.
We kind of like just goofed around 30 minutes waiting on Matt.
Yeah.
And we shot like a little test video. And it ended up basically being like a podcast that didn't go on podcast.
Yeah.
It was just us looking at a camera being us.
Yeah, yes.
And we talked about this.
It was sort of a pre-show.
Yeah. We're pre-gaming without the alcohol.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I can't wait. Matt is going to be back in the shed.
Oh, yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah. All three of us.
If you listened to the podcast last weekend, while we were talking about Joe Exotic, and we came up, and somehow the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia was brought up.
Man.
To that point, neither Danny nor Matt has seen it.
It's been fixed now.
They have both watched it. I believe Matt has finished it.
Yeah.
They will be reviewing the Wild and Wonderful Whites. Meanwhile, I'll be sitting there enjoying the show.
Yeah. Because there's a lot to unpack there, which is saying something, because Tiger King is only 7 episodes, and they're like 45, 48 minutes per episode, something like that. They're just under an hour. And then, Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, which I love that title. That's why I said the whole thing. It's about an hour and a half. Hour 45 minutes, hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah.
And there's literally just as much content in that short span as there is in the entirety of Tiger King. Like, it's wild how much stuff is in there. I'm really trying not to go, because I'm trying to save it for Friday, but man, that was an experience in itself.
Again, if you need to feel better about yourself, go watch that.
Yeah.
Because you will instantly feel like you are high class, hoity-toity, Cause,
Yeah, you're making it, man. If you really need perspective on your life, like, just watch that show, watch that documentary, and you will immediately be like, man, I've really got my life surprisingly together. And if you see any of that in that documentary and you're like, oh, that's how my life is, you need help.
Exactly.
You need help.
You need serious help.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you got sling blades in it.
Hey, Friday. Save it for Friday.
Speaking of which,
Sling Blade's a good movie.
They should make a sequel to Sling Blade.
How would that even work, though? He went to jail for splitting old dude's head in half with a lawnmower blade.
I get that, but here's what you do: the little boy.
Spoiler, sorry.
Frank.
For a movie in the 90s.
Yeah. I think that movie was released in like 98.
Yeah.
97, 98. I think the whole spoiler thing can go out the door.
I did that because I think it's so funny how no matter what or how old something is, everyone's got to be like, oh, spoiler alert, sorry.
Like, well, the movie's been out 20 plus years. At this point, it's your fault. Okay? Anyways, you have the little boy, Frank. He grows up to be a lawyer. And his task is to get Carl out of the nut house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's as far as I've gotten, but...
Actually, I think that would be enough, man. To make a premise.
Yeah, I mean... Could it...
I dig that.
Could it top what the first one did? Probably not.
No.
I mean, why not go ahead and do it? I mean, Billy Bob ain't doing nothing else.
Just to see Billy Bob play that character again would be worth it.
It would be. So,
you could, I mean, if somebody actually put a lot of thought into it, and actually wrote a decent script, and then you had Billy Bob, like, really committing to the role, it could be a solid movie.
By the way, if that comes to fruition after this podcast, I better get something.
Yeah.
I better get something from it.
At least premiere tickets.
I'll help them premiere tickets. I want money.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of tough. You don't own any of the intellectual property.
Yeah, but it's my idea. That idea is copyrighted by Greek Godcast Inc.
We're Inc. now? We're incorporated? I thought it was just Greek Godcast.
Well, Inc. is just, we
have pins?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're Greek Godcast Inc.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We own that.
Yeah.
So, oh, man.
So, what are the thoughts you got today that you'd like to share? I have a few of my own, but I don't want to take up all the time talking about my stuff.
I don't know.
I could go on a few things, honestly, because I've been taking notes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing I've been working on is I've been jotting down ideas.
Yeah, we've been writing down different ideas of what we need. If you go watch the Patreon exclusive video, we sort of I do a verbal tour of the shed.
Yeah.
Folks, I'm going to get it fixed up. You just got to give me time.
I mean, if you saw the video on YouTube of us and Matt talking about Tiger King and his snake bite story, you saw the behind us where the door is to get in and the AC, and that's what the rest of the shed looks like. It's shelves and some counters, and that's it, and it's in desperate need of some TLC.
And I'm going to get there. I just need time.
I mean, you work a full-time job and you got a family, so I mean that's time-consuming in itself.
It is.
It
takes money. Which, hey,
and it takes money to fix up stuff.
Speaking of which, we may be getting actual sound equipment in the next couple of weeks,
and then you can clearly hear our wonderful Southern voices.
Yes, I would say a month at the most, but I'm thinking it's going to be within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That we get actual sound equipment.
Yeah.
And then it might take another couple of weeks till we figure out how to fucking use them.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, you let one slip.
I did. I'm trying not to drop the F-bomb as much.
So, the reason being for that is really just to make my wife happy.
Yeah.
Because she's not too fond of language, She's
not only that, like when I listened back to them, I didn't realize how much I say it until I listened to myself.
Well, that's like me and the words like and
Yeah.
Like I just did it.
Yeah.
I say it so much, and it's hard to break habits like that.
It is.
Yeah, a few years ago, I just did it again. A few years ago, The church I went to, well, I still go. It's just it's changed forms over the years. They've had major changes over the last few years, but during its time under the last pastor I was under, he talked about that. Me and him were having a discussion one day about public speaking and things like that. He told me like the thing that he did to get past doing things like saying and stuff like that is he was in a group that was teaching you how to talk publicly, right?
Yeah.
And so what they did, every time he had a habit that was bad for public speaking, they would slam a quarter in a coffee can or something like that. It was something like that to point out when he does it. And so after hearing that coin slam so many times, he learned to start paying attention to his habits and being able to think out what he's saying as he's saying it or right before he says it, and not making those mistakes. And now he's a wonderful speaker.
Well, I'm not going to sit here with a Coke can and a quarter for you.
No, I'm not doing that either. I'm just saying, like, it sometimes, depending on habits, it takes something drastic like that to break it.
Sometimes the F word, though, just fits so well.
Yeah.
It just fits well with everything.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to try to cut back on it for Mrs. Dan the Man.
Yeah.
You know, because I want us to be able to keep playing together.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, I've said it before. I try not to swear like at all. I don't just talk clean for the podcast. Like that's just me, period. But at the same time, like I'm a human being, and sometimes it happens, and I don't get upset about it. I'm like, well, I made a mistake. I'll try not to do it again.
Yeah.
Because like that's just me. That's just my preference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But she's really grateful that you're being respectful to her so that I can keep doing the podcast with you.
I'm trying.
Oh,
it's...
You know, people just heard that and they're probably thinking like, oh man, Dan the Man is whipped.
Yeah.
No, that's not true at all. Dan's just respectful of his wife.
Yeah. And
what she wishes and, you know, things like that. It's called, you know, actually caring about your marriage.
You know, there's
a difference between being whipped and...
There's some dude out there right now. Shit, my bitch ain't gonna tell me what to say. I'm a grown ass man. I wear the pants around here.
Yeah, that's exactly what a child would say too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell, I run this household. I say what I want to say. Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ain't no pussy whip. Yeah,
well, see, I run my household too, but I don't just make decisions without consulting my wife because that's kind of a jerk move. Some things I do, but like, you know, stuff that don't matter anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to get into a whole rant on how marriage works, but saying that a minute ago just made me think like somebody's listening to this and they're just like, oh, here come the whip comments.
Yeah.
Mind your business.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah. Now, there is a line between respecting your spouse and being whipped.
Yeah, there is.
There's a line.
Because there are people who are whipped. Like they can't do nothing.
For sure.
But then there's people who don't do things just out of respect for their spouse.
Right.
Whichever way side of the marriage is.
Yeah. But I think there needs, like, oh God. There, in a relationship, there has to be separation.
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
to have your day. You have to have her day.
Yeah.
Or she gets to have her day. These people that are together 24/7.
Yeah, man.
It's never gonna work.
Y'all need a hobby.
Y'all need to do something. Dude,
I'm glad you brought that up. I love being around my wife. I could spend all the time in the world with her, but at the same time, like you said, that's not healthy. Like, she needs time to do her stuff. She needs to go see her friends. She needs to engage in her hobbies, because it also boils down to mental health. And these things are good for mental health.
Yeah.
She actually is really happy that I'm doing this podcast and doing art and focusing on stuff that I'm interested in because it's good for my mental health.
Right.
You know, it's healthy.
Well, it's just this idea, and I don't know if it's always been like this or I just notice it more now the older I get. These couples who think, they got to be together 24/7,
You don't.
365.
You gotta have room to breathe, man.
Like if me and Haley were together every hour of every day, we'd have already killed each other.
Yeah.
But just because I get tired of anyone after a while.
Yeah.
You get tired of each other. You don't have a chance to miss each other, and then it's a cluster flip of emotions.
Too much of anything
Is bad.
is bad.
Yeah.
Even the best of things.
Yeah.
Like, really.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I don't understand. Because, hell, after about 5 hours, Haley, she's ready to throw my ass out the door.
Yeah.
All right, you can sleep on the porch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but these couples that just, they're together every second of every day.
It's one of those things that, like most bad ideas, it looks good on paper.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I get it, but at the same time, like in practice, no, man.
It's not good.
Like right now with the quarantine, we're going stir crazy because we're stuck in the house.
Yeah.
You know, like you and I, like we know where each other's been, so we're not worried about the whole social distancing thing. Like when we do this podcast.
Yeah.
And we're already at work together anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is that going to do? And
Exactly.
so, that being said, like, outside of work and us hanging out to do this podcast, I'm at home.
Yeah.
Like, and it's driving me nuts. And my wife even worse, because she doesn't even get to go to work.
Yeah.
Like, she has to stay home, and they close the schools.
Yeah,
For the rest of the year
it's
in Arkansas?
official in Arkansas. The
Yeah.
schools are closed for the rest of the year.
But they're still doing AMI.
Which is ridiculous.
They're still doing the at-home stuff. And so she's having to homeschool. You know, I mean, she when she's home, she tries to take care of the house and do stuff or whatever. We split the load on taking care of the home.
He
But when
said load.
yeah, I did. But when she's home, she tries to, be the stay-at-home mom that you think of. I mean, she
Yeah.
bakes cookies and cleans and raises children and all that stuff. I mean, that's what she wants to do. And
Your wife can make some fire cookies.
oh my God, my wife is so amazing. I love her so much. Really. So, but she's just at a point, man, where she's just drained.
Yeah.
And we're trying to focus on our hobbies right now, even though we're stuck in the house,
Yeah.
just so we can get some kind of mental break.
Right. And the kids are going stir crazy too.
Yeah, I'm throwing them out in the yard as much as I can when I can
Yeah.
get away with it.
Well, it's just, even small kids like I got, 4 and 5 years old,
Yeah,
they don't always just want to play in the yard. They want to go somewhere and do something.
yeah.
But hell, we can't take them nowhere.
Sunday, and I wish I could do it again today, but it rained,
Again.
But Sunday we got the dogs, and we went and walked down. So coming from my house, there's a highway. You come off my driveway, but then if you were to go down the highway, there's a neighborhood right next to it. There's a road that runs parallel to the highway, and it's really great for walking. So we spent maybe an hour walking from my house down to the end of that road and then back walking the dogs. And it was a beautiful day, nobody around. We just went and walked, come back. Oh my God, that was so amazing, just to get that fresh air,
Yeah.
vitamin D.
There you go. So, left turn here. Hard left turn.
Hard left,
Hard left.
not hard no though. Hard
And
yes.
this might be where I step on some toes.
Probably. Whoa, ooh, I'm excited.
Over the past couple of days,
Yeah.
I have seen post after post after post. Rest in peace, Kurt Cobain. Kurt Cobain, legend. Kurt Cobain, icon.
Was this when he passed away?
Yeah, like the anniversary of his death.
Oh, okay.
Blah 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 blah.
I forget when he died, so I'm not
Folks,
think about that stuff.
Kurt Cobain and Nirvana suck. I'm gonna let that marinate there.
Pin drop.
Nirvana is one of the most overrated bands ever. The only band that might be more overrated than them are the Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones.
Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Stones. Rolling Sto
Yeah, they're really overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, listen, I understand what they did for music. They killed the hair metal into the grunge, which led us to 100,000 other bad bands.
Yeah.
But this idea that Kurt Cobain was this great artist and Nirvana was this great band. You want to know why Nirvana is looked at the way they are today? Because Kurt Cobain allegedly killed himself.
Yes. Well, technically, he did kill himself by getting in a relationship with Courtney Love.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if they had... Alright, let's say they made... Everything's the same and Kurt Cobain didn't die. He just decided, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm done. Nirvana would not be looked at like they are today.
No.
But because he died, we had this idea that, oh, he's such an amazing artist. Name 5 Nirvana... Off the top of your head, as quick as you can, 5 Nirvana songs.
Okay, well, obviously, Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Heart Shaped Box, and I can't name anything besides those 3.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
But I'm not a diehard Nirvana fan either.
Exactly. But most of the time, for most people, if you say, hey, 5 Nirvana songs, oh, Smells Like Teen Spirit,
and then,
yeah.
Yeah.
Folks, they're not that great.
They'll wear a Nirvana shirt, but do they actually
exactly
listen? Do they have them
Nirvana,
on their playlist? Do they have a CD?
They're not any good.
Do people still buy CDs?
I don't know.
I don't.
But I just get so tired of seeing this shit of... Okay, yeah, it's sad how he died. You want to remember him? Fine.
That's cool.
But to sit there and say, well, a great artist with a great band and life-changing band, they were not any good.
Really, man, the best thing to come out of Nirvana was David Grohl.
Yeah, Dave Grohl is the best thing to come out of Nirvana.
Man, I'm not...
He is better than Kurt Cobain.
I'm not just a big Foo Fighters fan, but I do like their music. There's times that I'll be like, man, I want to hear this song, and I'll turn on some Foo Fighters and just play whatever and just jam out to it. And Dave's a pretty good guy. I don't know. I like him.
I mean, I all the time I see this shit. Greatest frontmen, greatest singers, greatest bands.
And I'm not saying that, Kurt was a bad guy or anything, or that,
he was a prick.
He was
a prick.
Well, I was just going to say that because I don't know anything about his life.
Yeah, well, I mean, he could have been playing a character, but anytime you see him through interviews, he's a prick.
Really?
Yeah, he is. But, if, like I said, if he hadn't died, if he'd have just said, you know what, I'm done, I'm not doing this no more,
yeah,
Nirvana wouldn't be nowhere close to what people see him as today.
I agree with that. I'm going to tell you why. Because after Freddie Mercury died, as far as I know, Queen stopped making new music, but they kept playing.
Yeah.
They just got different people to sing with them over the years. Brian May is still alive. Man, I used to know all their names, but besides Freddie and Brian, I can't remember the other guys' names. I think the drummer is still alive and in the band. So most of the band, besides Freddie, is still there. Yeah. And basically, they just got another guy and another front man to do it. But all they do now is just play the stuff that they wrote with Freddie, and people still pay to see their shows. Would love to see Queen. I would pay to see their show. Yeah. I love Queen. Their music is still timeless. You can put Bohemian Rhapsody
up against any song,
to anything, and you can put it in any video, and it'll make that video better. And it's not just a one-hit thing with Bohemian Rhapsody. Just about all of their songs have that kind of impact.
And that's the thing. Nirvana had one big hit,
and it was hard to understand them half the time.
And that's another thing. You can't even understand what they're saying. And that's Pearl Jam. They're the same way.
Yeah, marbles. He's really bad about having marbles in his mouth. Is what it sounds like.
The grunge era was full of musically mediocrity bullshit.
And again, I would say on paper it seemed like a good idea.
Yeah.
But in practice,
I mean, just this. I don't know. It bugs me when I see people talking about Nirvana being this great, that great. They were not that good. Kurt Cobain was not some magical songwriter.
I'm glad grunge is over.
Yes, they had one big hit. The rest were okay. They had one big hit.
In the same way that I'm glad nu metal is over. The only thing I'm grateful for about nu metal is it seems to kind of pave the way for the way metal is today. And I love today's metal. Like all the different breakdown genres of it, you know, like metalcore and hardcore and, you know, things like that. Like August Burns Red is a really great metal band. And, you know, but there was, before all that, you know, you had bands like Korn and Limp Bizkit.
Keep rolling.
God almighty. They were famous. The $3 Bill Y'all album was actually good. I did like that album. But after that, man,
I didn't like the chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water.
No. God. Man. Dude. I don't know. You know, they still play. They're still touring.
Who wants to see Limp Bizkit?
Somebody.
I just imagine
somebody close to their 40s in a pair of Jinko jeans.
I just imagine a bunch of late 30, early 40 guys
in oversized blue jeans.
With oversized blue jeans. A shirt that's like 3 sizes too small so they can
frosted tip hair.
Yeah, with some earrings.
Yeah.
And a backwards hat. Just because they think they're a badass because they're at a Limp Bizkit concert.
I have earrings, but it's just because I like them.
Yeah, but you're not wearing oversized Jinko jeans and a tight shirt.
I'm actually still wearing my uniform.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still wearing my FR.
But, you know, and Korn, I was never big on Korn.
Korn is what got me into metal. Like, I would say Korn was good. Like, they still make albums.
Yeah.
And I will say this, every album that they've made, they at least have 1 to 2 really good songs. But, like, their best work is from their first self-titled album to Issues. And after that, they went downhill, in my opinion, in the quality of their music. Because when they released their 5th album, Untouchables, that sound that they created with that album, they just kind of stuck with.
Yeah. And
just varied a little bit with each album as they've gone through over the years.
Oh, they've had.
And it's just.
They've had a couple of songs that I've liked. I don't know. I don't find them to be all that great. I don't know.
Back in their heyday, they were awesome. But now, no.
Yeah, now that I look back at it,
yeah,
the new metal phase,
we got Slipknot out of it, and for the most part, they were okay. They've had some hit or miss stuff, but they've stayed pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. It's so hard to talk about music because there's really no right or wrong answer. It's all subjective.
This is all our opinion.
Yeah, but you know, Kurt Cobain was not this great messiah of music.
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
Apparently, he was a jerk, which I didn't really know.
I mean, if you just watch some of his interviews, he's a prick.
See, I've never bothered to watch any.
Well, I watched that documentary that's soaked in bleach that goes about his death and Courtney Love and was she involved, was she not involved? You know, okay. Take away how he died. Take away his death.
Yeah.
Just look at Nirvana, the band. They had one huge song, and then some songs that did okay, and that's it. They came out with what, 3-4 albums?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
and they've had remixes over the years after his death. You know, they always polish things.
It's just so ridiculous. Like, again, if Kurt Cobain had not died, if he'd have just retired and said, "I'm done with this shit. I'm out."
Yeah. It probably wouldn't be as much of a household name.
No, they wouldn't be. They would be known as a one-hit wonder band.
Yeah. I think people would talk about them more than they would the other grunge bands, though. Just because they were one of the first. Or weren't they the first?
They were one of the first that sort of mainstreamed it.
Yeah.
But, again, if you take away his death, you just look at Nirvana and Cobain just decided, I'm not doing this anymore. He retired. He didn't die. He just retired.
Yeah.
They would be known as one of the biggest one-hit wonders ever. But because he got his head, he blew his own head off.
Allegedly.
Yeah, he got Cobained. We can look at them like they're this great, amazing, spectacular, and they're not. Not even close.
Speaking of bands that are completely overrated, slight left turn, still on the same subject, different band. Guns N' Roses.
Very overrated.
Incredibly overrated.
Well,
I like Slash's guitar playing.
if I say I like Slash,
But he's the only thing out of that band I like.
well, I don't know though.
I can't stand Axl Rose.
Yeah,
I can't stand his
'cause,
voice.
Welcome to the Jungle. That was pretty big.
It was big, but I can't
See, here's my
stand
thing,
that
though.
song.
Yeah, are they overrated? But they have more big songs than Nirvana.
You're right, they do, but they're still overrated.
Yeah.
Massively. Like,
And you were talking about they were probably the best grunge band or whatever. Pearl Jam had way more hits than Nirvana.
yeah. Don't ask me any of them, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I hear just as much about Pearl Jam as I do about Nirvana.
which I don't like either one of them, but
I never got into Pearl
it's
Jam.
like, hell, Leonard Skinner, they had more big hits than Nirvana.
Yeah.
At this point, Breaking Benjamin has had more big hits than Nirvana.
Hey, I like Breaking Benjamin.
I do too,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, they're a newer band.
Yeah.
They've already put out more hits than Nirvana did.
Yeah.
Because Nirvana was not great.
Yeah.
They were different at a time, which made people look and think they were great. But as the grunge movement and everything came along, you know what? If Kurt Cobain was still alive, they would be an irrelevant band now, even if he never retired.
Yeah.
Because why? No one likes grunge anymore. Two, he was not good. He was not that great.
Yeah.
So,
I think if people went to see Nirvana, it would just be like a bucket list thing.
yeah, it would be.
Like at this point,
It'd be one of those things. Man, I really want to see them before they retire.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that way about Metallica. I have not enjoyed Metallica's music in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against their bassist, but ever since that dude from, I think it was Suicidal Tendencies is the band he was with before,
Yeah.
ever since he came on, he's a great bassist. But around that time when he joined the band, the albums that they put out since then, I can't get into
Unpopular opinion.
at all.
I was a fan of Saint Anger.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get, I think that was the first one dude came on to do. It,
let me rephrase. The song Saint Anger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's different.
Yeah,
Well, that's like Korn.
Well, I said
they
that,
have a couple songs you like, but overall, the album Saint Anger, I did not like.
Well,
at all.
I thought about it after I said it. I was like, oh damn, that name Saint Anger, the song Saint Anger, was also the name of the album.
Yeah,
I
you gotta
forgot.
clarify that.
Yeah, but I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Yeah, and you know what? It was still a bigger hit than Nirvana. Like, I just get so irritated
Yeah,
when I see this shit. Music icon. No. He's not. Michael Jackson is a music icon. Tina Turner, Whitney Houston, Garth Brooks, Metallica, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith. You know who does not belong in that group? Nirvana, Kurt Cobain. Do you know why he's not in that group? Because he wasn't that good. That's all I got for that rant. I could roll on for an hour with it.
yeah, that's one of those you could beat it to death and then beat it some more.
Yeah.
But, no, I get it. A lot of bands get put on a pedestal undeservingly.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I understand what they did.
Yeah.
They changed from the hair metal, glitz and glam metal, dudes wearing women's clothing and everything, to this, we're going to play as loud as we can, screw you. But after that, what'd they do? Nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Just change things up to
Yeah.
It was like a transitional phase.
Yeah.
It went from one thing to another that was a bridge to something else. And
Yeah.
then that thing was also a bridge to something else.
I'll put it like this. Glam metal was the floor.
Yeah.
Grunge is the first floor, or second floor. Nirvana was the escalator that went up.
Now, when you say glam metal is the floor, you're talking about after you had your initial foundation of what is considered metal from like Black
glam
Sabbath
metal,
and
hair metal. Well,
because like all these metals come from something.
Yeah, well,
even metal comes from like blues.
Well, what I'm talking about,
metal came from rock.
Glam
rock came
metal
from blues.
or hair metal. I'm talking about bands like Wasp or something. That would dance around in their mother's jackets.
Their mother's jackets.
Long story, folks.
That's a long story.
Long story. But
that's a phrase that got wrote on our whiteboard for like 6 months.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like these dudes that would wear skinny women's clothing. Yeah. Unmasked Kiss. Or dude, unpainted Kiss.
Okay. Unmasked Kiss. Their videos are... amazing. Some of them are quite the gem. Paul Stanley doing that swinging arm snapping motion might be the greatest dance move of all time.
Snap.
The Stanley Snap. I don't even remember what video that was where he was doing it. What song was that?
It was, Lick It Up. Kick It Up. Lick it up. Kick or lick it up.
I don't know. They had some really outrageous songs in it. Like Put the X in Sex.
Yeah.
Like, that was just ridiculous.
But you go from that.
That whole phase was ridiculous.
Like, music itself is in a mall. See if you can follow this analogy. Music itself is a mall.
Yeah.
So, first couple of floors, you got your old western, your blues, your soul. Mm-hmm. Nirvana was the escalator that went from hair metal to grunge.
Yeah.
And then whoever went from grunge to new metal.
Yeah. And then new metal to it branched out
I'm getting lost in the analogy. Point is, Nirvana sucks. Kurt Cobain is overrated. Shut up. You only like him because it's a fucking fad. But they belong. They're not icons because they're nowhere near in the same hemisphere as Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, Aretha Franklin, Garth Brooks. Yes, I said Garth Brooks because if you look at the numbers, Garth Brooks has sold a lot.
Yeah. He's famous for a reason.
They're not around Metallica, Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith. If you made a list of greatest artists, band, solo artists, country, blues,
I'm sure there is a list.
Whatever. Nirvana,
there's always a list for everything.
And if you made it true, and if you just looked at the music, not the backstory, the music, Nirvana is not in the top 100. Mm-hmm. They are not. How can a band be iconic if they're not in the top 100? You've got to at least crack the top 100 to be iconic. You know what? Hell, I might even make a list and post it exclusively on Patreon of the top 100 artists of all time.
Yeah.
My own list.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you this, Nirvana's not going to be in the top 100.
So I got a hard left turn.
Yeah.
It still has to do with music, but not like you're thinking. I'm going to show my edge again. With this one sentence. Turn your music down, you grown man. If you are a grown... Look, I give a pass to teenagers.
If you're over the age of 20.
Look, man, I can't... I understand you wanting to turn the music up. I turn the music up. But if you... And I don't have anything against you having a system. I've never had one. If I could ever get one, I would do it. But here's what I would not do. Blare it as loud as I possibly could. And when I say system, if me owning one would look different than what most people do. I would not buy the biggest speaker. That's what people do. They buy like the biggest speaker that they can possibly cram in their vehicle, and then they play it as loud as they possibly can so that everyone in a 5-mile radius can hear whatever song they're playing.
Yeah.
Whatever genre. It doesn't matter. They want you to jam out with them whether you like their music or not. Stop it. You're not a child. You're not a teenager. You don't get a pass You're a grown man. Stop wasting our time and your money and pay some bills.
Yeah, if you're over the age of 20 and you have a system in your vehicle,
you're just annoying people.
You are a douchebag.
You're no different than those guys in big trucks who just rev it for the sake of revving it.
Yeah.
Like, really, stop it.
So, we're going to wrap up here.
Yeah.
Again, this weekend, folks, it'll be on YouTube and it'll be on Anchor. Danny and Matt will be reviewing
Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
There you go. And I'll just be sitting back enjoying the show as I've seen this movie 11 times.
11.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you two, this was y'all's first time watching it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going to start the first Star Wars. I'm going to start the sequel trilogy.
No, you're going to start the original.
The original.
Yeah.
I'm starting the original trilogy hopefully this weekend, and by next weekend I can do a review on that.
I'll bring you my copies of the movies so you can watch them.
There you go. So if you want to listen to that, go subscribe to Patreon. All you gotta do is look up Greek Godcast. It's simple.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Man, no. I think I can always talk about something, but
yeah,
not at the end. So I'm good. You guys have a great day, great week. We'll catch you Friday. Stay safe. Thanks for supporting the podcast.
Yeah. Head on over to Facebook, Greek Godcast. Like, follow the page, share it with your friends. Again, go to patreon.com/Greek Godcast and or patreon.com/Trash Panda.
Trash Panda.
Not Trash Panda 71. Just Trash Panda. Subscribe to them both. Right now, $3 pretty much gets you everything, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it shows there are different tiers, but
yeah.
Right now,
just as long as you do it.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah.
You can just subscribe to the lowest one. It'll get you everything. We're going to start putting out more stuff. Just so. Nirvana's overrated. The NCAA is stupid. Learn how to text. If you got too much, call.
Turn your music down.
Turn your music down, you old fuck.
You did it. And I was just about to say, we love you, Ann.
Yeah, sorry. But
thank you, Haley, for giving us her name.
Yeah. She was starting to press charges. She was looking to press charges on us and whatnot.
Yeah.
So
probably some infringement there.
Probably. But it's dinner time.
Yeah.
Fat boy gonna go get fatter.
It's time to go.
So until next time, be good.